Broadcast live.
Yo, what's up? We out here. We got the homeboy Solo. Just dropped a new album called
Yes, sir.
C. Like C.
Yeah, C.Plenty.Dreams.
I just remember the C.
That's fine, as long as you remember the order.
I just couldn't find Plenty Dreams. Like I just couldn't go back. I couldn't find the catalog on the streaming platform. So it kind of made it feel like it's a new thing.
Altogether.
When actually, it's actually like a build from a previous thing.
Yep.
So before I even get into that, why don't we have like the previous stuff? Because you've got a style and a narrative.
Yeah.
Which I think is important for people to kind of backdate.
Okay, cool. So just to touch on the A and B before the C, right? So again, debut project Dreams A Plenty. The story behind that was it was always going to speak to the novice, basically. And novice more so just in terms of music as an industry versus making music. I think a lot of artists start very young. So that's one thing where you're practiced and polished, but the industry itself, by virtue of not knowing how it works, means you're a novice. You're starting at the beginning, even with your talent. So that was essentially the story of Dreams A Plenty. Dreams B Plenty always was going to speak to the middle ground. So by middle ground, what I mean is where the average artist lives, right? So you've been working in this industry for a while now. You've received some yeses, you've received a lot of no's, but you keep going. You keep going in your stride, and that's why with Dreams B Plenty, if you remember, we used the idea of being at the airport and your flight is delayed.
Yeah.
That was basically the analogy and what the concept of the album was based upon. And the whole idea was, if you have a ticket and you're supposed to fly out, right, and the flight is delayed, by virtue of being at the airport and having your ticket, you will fly out. It's the timing of it all that you're just uncertain about, right? And I think that for me was the perfect picture to kind of highlight what the feeling of artistry is, right? You come in, you always have this idea of then the blow up is gonna come. You don't know when that is. You have no idea when it is. But by virtue of you consistently doing what you need to do, that kind of possibly shifts into inevitable. It's just a timing thing. You have no idea how long that would take. In comes C.Plenty.Dreams, which is the last of the trilogy. Thank God I'm done. I'm so tired of living this thing.
Yeah.
But the idea of C.Plenty.Dreams, I'd always said C.Plenty.Dreams was going to speak to success. But by that, I mean what my definition of success is when I get to the point of making the album, right? So not necessarily living a success versus understanding what it means to you at a given time. And that's pretty much what you're hearing right now sonically, my definition of success.
Okay. You make classic albums though, you make classic albums, and I feel that you make those albums that people don't, like people are gonna, if once they start digging, they're gonna go, oh, this is timeless. This is a reflection of the thinking, the time, your English is lumi yasikhuluma.
Ngiyabonga mfana.
Hey, and mawusikhuluma sikhuluma kahle ngisho urap ngathi yasikhuluma isilungu. Yes. I literally have to go play back. But how much time do you put in making the album? Because I do have my questions, but I just listened to the effects that you put in, like the sounds, and how much time are you like create a palette, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's like, okay, put that one of people screaming. It sounds like it's all thought of, like that sounds like this, that, you know what I mean?
I do, man, and I obviously appreciate you saying that. I think the thing that probably puts us in our place is we also understand that with conceptual albums, it's so easy to fall into gimmick.
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's such a fine line between, you got that, you got that so right, or okay, so you're using that as a gimmick to try get this or that
as a
point
crutch,
across, you know,
basically,
as a crutch, yeah. And I think that's probably the thing that like disciplines us, right? Where when we're listening back with the team, it's like we're able to, we have to honestly say in the room, did it have the effect that we were going for? What was the situation there? And also I think just between, obviously between A, B, and C, so I dropped Dreams A Plenty in 2014, but we started working on that like end of 2012. In between those projects, in between A, B, and C, I also dropped We Need a Title with Books. I also come off dropping like tour dates and tour dates deluxe with the guys. And what I found is that just by virtue of constantly working at this, it's becoming quicker for us to execute even like the most intricate of concepts, just because you're so practiced in it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And because of that, even with C.Plenty.Dreams, what I did was I locked in with my team. So it's myself and Books in a room, conceptualizing everything. Rest of the Better Gang in the room as well, you know. And this is the entire team. Reason being, I know how effective we are, even with time frames. I know that if I say something, everybody knows how to interpret that artistically. They understand. We understand each other now, right? There's that synergy. So as much as it does take a lot, it probably takes more energy than it does time today. Time is something, like I said, we can work in the constraints because I feel like we're seasoned, you know. But just in terms of then the execution, it's more the amount of energy you need to put in it to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough just to, you guys, kudos to you guys. You've literally, commitment from a team also, you know, is very important.
Absolutely.
You know? But when I was listening to the album, I was asking myself that, like, sometimes I feel like it's an old wise man speaking. So sometimes it feels like it's that kid solo that came to my office at TBWA who was like naive, you know.
Dreams A Plenty solo, basically.
Yeah,
the naive one. Yeah,
I do feel there's this. So I was like, am I interviewing the wise man? Because when I say wise, there's things that you're even saying which are empowering, you know.
Yeah.
Open up they open up your eyes to things. What channel should we go? You know what I mean? When I'm speaking to you, what are we channeling? What are we channeling? You know, in this trilogy.
No, man. You know what? I think possibly the best way to look at it is just the definition of this concept album itself. What we're chasing is. So again, when I said to you, success and my understanding and version of it today is what the album is about. My success today, my definition of it rather, is balance. And that's actually what I'm speaking to in this project. I'm speaking to the fact that, you know, once upon a time, I wanted to be like the greatest MC out there.
You fucking are dope though.
I appreciate it, but like you can keep that title. You know what I mean? Reason being, it comes at a cost of the balance. You know, if I'm forever just trying to show you guys and prove to you guys that I'm the best to ever touch a pen, and then like I have family issues. Me and my wife aren't necessarily 100. Spiritually, I'm not great, and all of that. The cost of imbalance is just too much for me today. My version of success and my understanding of success is to do at least to pursue this idea of balance, right? Because what that does is it allows me to sit with you and we can have a conversation about hip hop, right? Cool, that's fine. I just made a hip hop album, let's discuss it. We can also have a conversation about spirituality, about family, about this and that. And for me, that's successful. We're almost like sharpening each other by virtue of speaking to all these different dynamics.
That's key. And like I think when you do talk about balance, what we look at is that the thing about like this balance though is that I think that like if you are a dope rapper,
Yeah.
the problem is when you worry about who sees that you're a dope
Exactly.
rapper, not the fact that you are dope.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So, because someone else just can't rap.
Yep.
So you gotta like take what you have, and instead of trying to show the guys or show whoever, you just need to be it. And that's where being becomes, when they say be yourself.
Yep.
So being yourself is being a dope writer.
Yeah.
You know, you never had to prove it to anybody.
For sure. But you can understand, my younger self would not have listened to you right now. Would have
Fair.
been like, yeah, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
I'ma just keep like proving this. I remember about like maybe 2 years ago, I had this conversation with Rouge. I was like to assist. If anybody doesn't get that you can rap now, well, then leave them. Like, you need to be properly just exploring how dope you are as an artist, because you are that dope as an artist. Leave the I need to prove
Yeah.
over there. It's just kind of capping you.
Yeah.
You know?
What's a motivator for anybody who's gotten to a point where all accolades are a basic object? Now what is opulence to someone who has found a hidden truth about our history and is dying to express upon it? Not familiar times, longer than newspaper to hang giants with thickest of skins. Pardon the use of the pen. Spoke to my elders and it's never been clearer what objective is for the group in the den. Lines gather in circles, you hear the roars.
You say something like on the first joint, you know, isicathulo same, like benithi nje isicathulo saniphuca isicathulo. Nizibonile ingubo. I think that's the last thing that you say. I was trying to hear that.
Look nithi khala isicathulo senu soniphuca. Yeah.
And then you continue.
Then it's ngizibonele ngosi. Like I literally saw this myself.
Ngizibonile ngosi. Okay, I never heard that because I was trying to hear what ngizibonile ngo. So I was trying to say ubone ini ngo.
Yeah.
I was trying to. It's okay.
I see what you were trying to fish for. So all we were doing
not
is
even fish. I was just trying to understand what it means if you're saying ingubo, but like mbonile ngosi.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
get it.
saying. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes, you know, I mean, we have genius which literally explains people's lyrics. You know, I just never heard that. You know,
Yeah.
so okay, cool.
That's fine.
This is clearing the lyrics.
Sure, that's
you
fine.
know. When you're writing some of the stuff that you're saying, though, because it's so specific and it's so insightful and it's so deep and it's also very spiritually orientated.
Yeah.
Do you write and look at the rhymes and go, will they get that? Or do you write it on a beat? Or is it just things that you just wrote and you like rap them on a beat, you know? Because obviously you are now taking us to another level. It's almost like you got on that plane on B and that plane took you higher than the clouds.
We left Earth with it.
It's somewhere else. That plane took you somewhere else. You know what I mean? So do you look at it and you go, are they going to get it?
No. Again, I think something that I probably used to do. The thing about that is, again, sometimes you run the risk of compromising the whole thing. One thing I don't do anymore is I don't downplay the intelligence of my audience, right? Because even if you don't get it, the one thing you do have is access to information. So you can read up on it and level up.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible,
Yeah.
you know? So as long as I'm articulating exactly the message I'm trying to get across, I don't then go back to review it to be like, okay, let's switch this word so that it's easier to understand what it is that I'm trying to say. Because in fact, funny, something you mentioned as we started off with this about having to go back a number of times. Those are literally my favorite hip hop artists. Artists where, you know, my repeat value is not just based on how dope the beat is versus, yo, what did Jay say over there? Or it hits me a year later and I'm like, that's what he was saying. Well, and it's just stuff like that I feel like I would potentially be robbing people of if I'm now going back to break down things that I got it right the first time. You know, I felt that way when I put it on wax, but so I don't necessarily go back to do that. I think people, even if they don't get it today, they can get it tomorrow as they grow, should they grow, and all of that.
I mean, I'll tell you, the reason why, one of the reasons why I actually like, I mean, I rap, right, but I don't really take anything out, you know. One of my biggest barriers is that I was, from 3-4 years ago, I was writing things that are, in my view, pretty like spiritual. In my view, pretty much disconnected from the world. I mean, I was talking about it now, is that we don't have a template of the new black family, meaning you guys.
For sure.
Meaning me.
Yeah.
The new blended family. Our kids, I was using the example that like, my kids are what I was gonna call our cheese.
Sure.
The fact that my kids literally like I started seeing our blessings no matter what challenges you go through.
Yeah.
But the most of South African kids across the country, black people mostly are poor. That's why they don't have. So
yeah.
The fact that my kids actually aren't aware of that, or aren't living where other kids are living, my biggest fear is that how do my kids go out and help? Because I can sit here and do Slikour Live and meet up with artists because I'm from a place where everyone else who is possibly seen as poor comes from.
Sure.
So, you know, how do we create that context, you know, with our kids so they have a balance? How do you have empathy for your people if you have never been around your people?
If there's, I guess at some level, a disconnect, right?
Yeah, and in our generation of parenting, marriage, relationships,
yeah,
who's creating that template for us?
So, I think what you were mentioning about like music that you were making like 3-4 years ago and stuff, I think that's the thing then, right? The importance of actually putting that stuff out there for people to be able to find and then put together their own template via all this information. It's like something like Gwaguhle Wethu, you know, so the production that myself and my wife put together.
Shout out
to Mrs. Langa.
Yeah.
But even that, right?
I like you, sorry. You already saying my wife.
Oh yeah, hey Bafanas. Hey dog, after doing everything, paying everything, trust me.
You're already saying my wife. You switched up quick, man.
To my wife. Hang around me, you're gonna get tired of that, trust me.
No,
but it's like, even with the special that we put out, right? One aspect of things that we touched on obviously was spirituality, and I'm talking more so in terms of African spirituality, ubungoma and such. And you know, at some point we also realized that how the average black South African understands this is from a place of darkness.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
So what I mean by that is a gapet. Maybe now for the first time you're thinking, hey, and that already shows you how we have this understanding of just associating darkness with our spirituality, right? And what myself and my wife did was we put that in the context of love in our special. So that alone is its own teachable moment, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about, but that's obviously then again the importance of art, that you can keep the stuff to yourself, and her and I can be fine because at least now we're enlightened, we're open up. But then what about everybody else? What about everybody who just consumes things like the average person? If we're not then infiltrating those spaces to then enlighten, then we won't have what you're talking about. We won't have this this idea of what future black really looks like, or at least it'll just live in the few, and it can't be that.
Broadcast live